name is Krishan, and I welcome you to my channel, A Lifetime Gift. I'm a wife, a mom of three boys, currently expecting baby number 4, and I'm an internationally board certified lactation consultant. If you're new here, I read children's books about God, children's books about breastfeeding, and some of our family favorite books that we love to read here at home. Now, the story that I'm going to share with you all has the same topic and somewhat of the same theme as the last book that I read, which was Happy Hippo, Angry Duck, which was a book about moods and emotions and feelings. But the great thing about the book that I'm sharing with you all this time is that it also shares how children can manage those feelings and emotions that they have. The book that I'm referring to is Broken Crayon Still Color. Now, although that this theme of emotions and also being able to manage emotions is one of the messages in the book, but there's also one very important message that I want to make sure that everybody is able to capture out of this book. And I want to make sure that I bring that up at the end of this story. So make sure you stay tuned. But let's first jump right into this book. Broken Crayons, Still Color. Written by Toni Collier with Whitney Bach and illustrated by Natalie Basilica. Avery loved coloring. She didn't have many crayons, but yellow flamingos and green unicorns were more fun anyway. Then one day, she got a new crayon box with tons of colors. Turquoise, like the new nursery, violet red, like her new shoes, and cadet blue, like her new house. Tomorrow, Avery would bring her new crayons in her new backpack to her new school. Suddenly, she felt flippy and fizzy and fluttery inside. When Mom called her for dinner, Avery didn't feel like eating. "Would you like to say a prayer before your big day?" Dad asked. "No," Avery whispered. "I'm too scared." "You can do hard things," Dad squeezed her, "even when you're scared." Later, Avery wanted to draw her first day of school outfit, but that's not what she drew. Then, she tried to draw the school playground, but that's not what she drew either. Avery doodled and dotted and dashed until... crack! The crayon broke in half. Avery grabbed another, but it broke too. Crack! She grabbed another and another. Crack! Crack! Avery tried to shove the pieces into the box, but that's not what happened. Rip! "What have I done?" Avery cried. "I'm a mess, just like these crayons." When Avery's sobbing quieted, she heard a small scuffle. Then a tiny voice said, "Avery, girl, it's not nice to put people down, even yourself. Right, Omar?" Avery's red crayon was talking and walking. And Omar, the orange crayon, was bouncing. "That's right, Ruby. Guys, don't forget me," Patrice, the blue crayon, called. "Here, let me help, Patrice," the purple crayon said. "And how about you, Grace?" "Thanks, Pedro." "You are so sweet." Grace, the green crayon, turned to Avery. "It sounds like you need help." Before Avery could reply, Omar said, "Whoa, these drawings are amazing." "Is tomorrow your first day of school?" Grace asked. Avery sniffled, then nodded. "So why are you crying, girlfriend?" Ruby asked. "I'm crying because..." Avery didn't know how to explain the flippy, fizzy, fluttering feeling. "I got messy inside and ruined all of you." "Girl, don't you know," Ruby said, "we don't have to be perfect to be useful." And no mess is ever too big for God, Pedro added. And we're going to help you have a great year at school, Omar finished. How? Avery asked. First things first, Ruby said. I want you to know it's okay to be upset. You're not a mess because you have messy feelings. But let's keep big feelings from becoming bad actions, Grace said. Grace told Avery to draw 2 pictures, her favorite flowers, and a cake with candles. Then she had Avery pretend to smell the flowers. Breathe in really deep through your nose. Now blow out the candles. So good. Do that again. Thanks, Grace. I feel calmer, Avery said. But still messy. Let's sort that out next, Pedro said. Sometimes it helps to draw how you feel. I'm feeling creative, like a balloon. You can draw an elephant when you're angry and want to stump things, Ruby said. Or a rainy day when you're blue, Patrice said. Avery decided she was feeling anxious, excited, and a little afraid. The next morning, on the school bus, Avery wanted to sit next to someone, but that's not what she did. Avery, Pedro popped out of her backpack. Life is more fun with friends. But who would want to be my friend? Avery asked. Who wouldn't? Pedro said. You're kind and thoughtful and fun, Omar said. Draw a picture to remember what a blast you are. Most of all, Pedro added, you are brave. You can do hard things, even when you're scared. Hey, Avery's dad said that to her all the time. Avery decided she was brave enough to make a new friend, and she knew just how to do it. Outside school, Avery walked up to the girl from the bus. Her chest thumped, 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 but she said, Hi, I'm Avery. I drew this for you. Wow, thanks, the girl replied. I'm Jillian. Avery and Jillian hoped to sit together in class. But that's not what happened. Avery started to sniffle again. I'm sorry you're upset, Avery, Patrice said. Instead of thinking about sad things, draw the things that make you happy. When you're feeling sad and blue, there are reasons to be grateful too. Avery drew and drew and drew. The rest of the week, Avery practiced the crayons lessons. She stopped to smell her flowers and blow the candles. She remembered she was smart and she could do hard things. She said thank you for a rainbow, a helping hand, and a box of broken crayons. On Friday, Jillian gave Avery a surprise. A crayon box? Now Avery felt flippy and fizzy and fluttery inside. For a new reason. She was happy. Ruby, Omar, Patrice, Pedro, and Grace had a new home, and it was as beautiful as they were. After school, Avery showed Mom her box and all her drawings. Every time I got messy inside, I used my crayons, and even though they are broken, I made beautiful drawings. Mom smiled. My life has been messy at times too, she said. But I've learned that God can turn our messes into masterpieces. After all, Avery said, broken crayons still color. So we saw in the story that Avery learned from her crayons how to manage the emotions, those feelings that she was having, being able to draw pictures with certain colors, and then also to be able to imagine herself or even see herself in a picture of her blowing her favorite, excuse me, smelling her favorite flowers, and blowing out candles, being able to breathe in and breathe out, taking those deep breaths to help her calm her her feelings and to calm herself down a bit, and being able to use these techniques to manage her emotions. And that's the wonderful thing about this book, like as I mentioned in the beginning. But another thing that they have in this book is that, and I'll put it here, that they have a kind of like a color wheel where, just as Avery did, where she was able to use certain colors to go with how she felt or the emotion she was having. So, like, she drew a red elephant when she talked about having like a angry type of feeling or emotion. And so, with this color wheel, is that it of course encourages children to color when they have these big emotions, but to use certain colors to also correspond with that feeling that they have. And so I thought that was great, a great addition to the book, because it's just so important to show children that there are different ways that they can manage their emotions. In the Happy Hippo Angry Duck video, I talked about one of the things that we do here at home. I talked about the calming chart that I created for my son, which I'll put here. And this calming chart has been very helpful with him managing his emotions and those big feelings that he sometimes gets when things don't go his way. So we've now come to a point that sometimes that he doesn't necessarily have to be reminded about his calm down chart or has to see his calm down chart to know that, okay, maybe I need to go somewhere and calm down. Maybe I need to get a glass of water. Maybe I need to count to 10. Maybe I need to go draw, right? Um, just the different options that he has there in the calming chart, if he needs to take a deep breath using his windmill and blowing that. So he now knows that he can do it to a point that I don't have to necessarily remind him to do it. He may just go off himself and do it and come back and say, you know what? I'm calmer now. I feel a little bit better. And that's been great to see him use with managing how he feels and managing those big emotions he has. But another wonderful thing about this book that I love even more about the techniques that they share is that the message of no matter how big a mess that you have in your life or how messy you feel, that no mess is too big for God. And I think that's the most important message in this book, because we sometimes go through life thinking that we are so messed up that there is no type of fixing that can fix us, or there's so much brokenness within us that there's no way that we can be fixed. But the thing is that we can, and that's through Jesus Christ, that's through God. And truly turning our lives over to Him and giving Him all of our problems, all of our brokenness, all of our mess that we have, He is able to turn it around and to bring out something beautiful out of it. And we're reminded of that back in the story where I think it was Pedro the crayon who reminded Avery that there's no mess that's too big for God. And then at the end of the story, where Avery's mom was explaining to Avery that she's had messes in her life, but God was still able to be able to use those messes to make something beautiful. So I just want to tell you and remind you that no matter the mess that you're going through right now, no matter how messy you're feeling, that it's not and it will never be too big for God. And I encourage you to draw near to God and to seek God, to truly know who He is and how much He loves you and how He wants the best for you no matter what. Even when sometimes you may not even feel that you're worthy of it. But the thing is that God can wash you clean and it will give you a brand new start and will truly turn your mess into a masterpiece. So if you want to make this book yours, I put the information for you to purchase in the description box. I also put information about the author in the description box. Her name is Toni Collier, and she actually has a organization called Broken Crayon Still Color. And I definitely encourage you all to check it out. I remember first learning about her, I believe, on the Bible app. She did one of their devotions in the morning, and I remember just being so intrigued by her and her story, that I remembered looking into her. And so I was so happy to see that she wrote this children's book that I definitely wanted to make sure that I shared it here on this channel. So if you want to hear more stories like this, please remember to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.